Hey, Robin. Hi, I'm Sheri Morrison. I'm pleased to be the one with Jerry Morrison, who's known Robin for many, many years back from MIT undergrad days. But I was privileged to meet you, gosh, I don't remember, it had to be in the late 70s or early 80s, when you were Richard. And one of my strongest memories was when you came over to our house in Manhattan and played the piano. Well, it was actually a Yamaha piano, but and I was moved to tears by how beautifully you played, and I mean, at a moment's notice, you just sat down and played, and it still lingers in my memory as a real highlight, and you need to know that. For a minute, I thought my dog was here. And I also remember when you transitioned to being from Richard to Robin, and we went out for dinner. You talked about what it was like to have to learn to move like a woman, to all the things that were involved in that transition. I was so touched by the fact that you shared that with me, the details of it, and I just really appreciated that you talked about it. And then we hadn't been in touch for a while, and all of a sudden we got together and you were Robin male, and I went, oh, when did that happen? And then we got together again and you were female again, which was what I was used to. And it doesn't matter, because you are who you are inside of yourself, and we love you so much for that soul, whether it's in your appendix or elsewhere. And I need you to know that I talked to our son Evan tonight, who's in Massachusetts, and he wants to wish you a very happy birthdays, and he really wants you to.
Jerry to stand up for a second. This is my friend Jerry Morrison. You guys saw him in the composite. He's next to me with the long hair and the beard. And he's the house manager right
back in the day.
Back in the day. I met Jerry when I was 17 years old. I hadn't turned 18. It was 1975. Jerry taught me how to solder. For those of you who know me as an electronic hacking, you know how important this man has been in my life. I was a terrible engineer. You guys know that. I almost got thrown out of MIT twice. The whole Cannesburger thing, not, but MIT definitely twice. And I purchased a kit, and I tried to solder it, and it didn't work. And here I was a stupid freshman, and I went to Jerry. It's like, and he's like, you stupid freshman. And he sent me off, and he re-soldered a bunch of it. And then he taught me how to solder. And what was important to me was that somebody not only would be willing to help me, but take the time to teach me how to do something that I didn't know how to do. And that was so important. And so the fact that I know you this many years later, and I can still solder, speaks volumes to what I can teach who you are. So thank you, Jen.
Not sure how many Robin stories to try and tell. let me try just a couple anyway. Yeah, so I met Richard, during Rush Week. We had extended him an offer to join the fraternity, and he came to me and said, Jerry, what's it like being a Jew in a fraternity? I mean, do you feel, some...
That's the wrong person.
And I said, not a problem for me anyway. He occasionally found a ham sandwich in his mailbox or a bag or something like that. I guess managed to engender more, I wouldn't call it discrimination, but more pranking, I guess, than I got. But, I'm not sure if I got the right year. Let me tell a little bit of story about the life there. And if you want to follow along with the layout of the territory a little bit, if you want to bring out your maps. No, bring out your phone, your iPhone, and go to the satellite view here of Beacon Street. On the corner was this this drugstore with a big glass window that for some reason about every 6 months the car would not make the turn and crash it into this thing in the middle of the night. Fortunately, it was in the middle of the night. And then right next to that was the pizza parlor where we'd get our late night pizzas. And then a couple doors down, we had the fraternity house on one side of the street and the annex, the additional house across the street. And so one of the things we basically had the pledges do every year was to paint a crosswalk. Because we built this like a major street, one way but 4 lanes, coming down. We did all that towards the process, and we want to paint our crosswalk there to help just warn the drivers, and of course we painted some alternative colors or whatever. Anyway. So we figured out that you have a lot easier time of doing this if you get the police on your side instead of the other way around. And the best way to get the police on your side is go to the manager of the pizza parlor where we ate a lot. And he knew them. So, 1 year, I've forgotten which one it was, we did it that way. And another year, I think it was Richard's year, they failed to do that. And so they're out there early in the morning painting the ground, whatever it is, trying to stop traffic 1 lane at a time. The cops come back and they're ready to arrest them. And then, fortunately, out comes the manager from the Crossroads Pizza Parlor to save the day there. Anyway, I want to, there's actually much of these more stories I could get into, but Richard got into, he went to the local radio station that we had, the Tech. This was the Tech Broadcasting Station, or TBS, WTBS, before they sold the license down. And he said, those people aren't the people I want to work with. And so instead, he went down to Wellesley, which is an all-women's school about an hour's bus ride away, and started doing a radio show there, right? A little radio station, only heard within the dorms. I don't know where the time came from with all the studying to do. You go down there and do a radio show. And I was surprised that I don't think any dates came out of all that.
But a fashion sense.
On the whole, I think it was worth it.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up with one more story, though. So, this is much, much later. Richard had moved to Palo Alto. And at some point, I had no idea. I was feeling depressed, thinking about gender issues and stuff like that. And I just called to talk, and we were chatting about the early home computer games like Mule. Mule's an economic simulation game. Some of you may have played this. But it was... Played, all right. Written by Dan Button and a fellow, actually, a group called Ozark Scouts based in...
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, I was in Ozarks. And somehow I got to say, by the way, Dan Button is now Danny Button. Decided to switch gender, whatever it was, and then continue on the conversation. And I had no idea at the time that Robin was thinking about all this stuff. And sort of, the message was, it's okay to change gender. It's an interesting thing, but it's not like a problem for me anyway. And what I didn't realize at the time until much later was that I had sort of done a good deed by conveying this message and not even